Death penalty is not an option in this case, and many people are asking why. For some insight, we bring in criminal defense attorney Leticia Quinones. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Let's talk about what's going on in this case. Can you explain why the death penalty is off the table here?
Absolutely. So, Melissa, the death penalty in Texas and really across the country is not applicable when the defendant is intellectually disabled. A more common term will simply be whether or not, as we refer to as retarded or something of that sort. When they find that type of intellectual disability, you cannot sentence someone to death under the U.S. Constitution and the laws of our country.
How do you feel like this compares to other cases? Are there any other high-profile cases that would compare to what we've been watching with this particular one?
I mean, you notice all over the country, all the different mass shootings. I think this one, though, is a little rare and a little different, and that this was actually a domestic dispute that turned into a tragic nightmare. And specifically, the calls from help from one of the decedents, the mom and the ex-girlfriend of Mr. Conley. You know, it's just really sad and really rare that it would happen to this magnitude where 8 people lost their lives as a result of a domestic dispute.
Certainly a very sad situation. So many people involved in this, and we know that it is high profile. A lot of people closely monitoring this. Can you give us any insight into what will be next in the trial, perhaps what we can expect from closing arguments?
Yeah, so in the closing arguments, you know, the prosecution has a real easy job here. It's not going to be difficult to convict Mr. Conley of capital murder, and that he gave a confession not only to the police officers, but also to his oldest daughter that he had with the decedent. They had one other child that was not in the home, and Mr. Conley confessed to her. Now, in regards to the defense, the best they're going to be able to do is protect the Constitution. There's just not a whole lot of argument here about guilt or innocence in this case.
Because you have, okay, and because, like you said, that you have that confession, do you ever see surprises in a case like this? Because you said the jury, it's pretty cut and dry for them. So I'm assuming if that is the case, that we will find out the next steps fairly quickly, that they will make that decision fairly quickly.
They will. They'll make that decision fairly quickly in a case like this, because they heard evidence about the children being killed as well. So those jurors are going to be outraged. You know, someone has possibly experienced domestic abuse in their life, and they're going to think about all those things, because jurors take all their own experiences into that deliberating room, that jury room. So I think the verdict will be fairly quick here.
All right. Thank you for walking us through the process, just so that we better understand what's going on with something like this. It's nice to talk to you.
Absolutely, Melissa. Have a great day.
You do the same.